you have been my saving grace. Baby girl, you have been my everything.
Welcome back to the Million Ways to It podcast.
MWTI, baby.
We're back for episode 14.
And who do we have in the
A
building?
very special guest in the building.
Family.
Gwinelly Botá.
Family.
Oh my gosh. Welcome back.
The boys got me
Welcome
on the podcast.
Come on now. We had to. Oh,
The
Nelly.
boys got me on the podcast.
You know.
Thank you for coming to the vibes. You know,
The vibes.
you the family.
Absolutely.
You're actually family.
And you know what? Before we even do that, we need to have a PSA.
Okay.
With our peoples, our fans. Look
Yeah.
into the camera, please. We do what we do because you like what we do, and we like to do what we do. And in order for us to do what we do continuously, we need you to subscribe.
Yeah.
We
What
need
else?
you to share.
Come on.
We need you to follow.
Share,
Tell your
like,
friends. Come
follow.
on, man.
Honestly,
It's
you
not
can
that-
also hate watch. We like hate watch.
We love that.
We love hate watch.
Just bring in the energy, man.
You
Come
know,
on.
Listen.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Tell a friend to
You
tell
feel
a
me?
friend.
The boys are back.
The boys been back.
So yes, follow, subscribe, share, do the thing, man.
You know what I mean?
So how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing amazing. I'm on the podcast, so you know I'm amazing.
Listen, you know, I when I reached out to you, I've told you this for a long time. I wanted to have you on because Nelly, you are a personality. Like you are a one of a kind human being. I really do believe that. It's shown throughout time. Like from the moment I met you first, we didn't know each other like that, but your name always rang whispers around my friend group because everybody was like, do you not know Gwinnelly? Do you not know Nelly?
You know?
And that was years ago. This was
Right.
This is a long time. So you have a presence that people very much enjoy, and this had to be expressed to the world. We had to share that.
Absolutely. And you know what's also crazy? You're the first women guest that we've had on our show so far.
I feel like I'm making history right now.
You are making history.
Put me in the books right
Beautiful
now.
black women at that. Look at her face. Come on, zoom in. Let's get a close up real fast. Yeah? Come on, man.
Are we
Only bringing the best into the studio, innit? All right, then.
we gonna break the?
I feel like I'm making history right now. Put me in the books right now.
You know what I mean? Just bring that together. And have it just hey, here's the line right here. Could you just sign it for me? Just
Change of
sign it.
nationality just took me to a place.
It's the code switching, isn't it? I'm sorry.
Code switch.
Let's go back.
I
Let's
need
go back.
that. And that's why I'm on a pod. Like, I would rather be nowhere else but here. There's no place I'd rather be than here.
Hey, and that's what we love to hear.
Sean,
Where else am I going to get this kind of energy?
Okay, Sean, you go tell him or
Tell them what?
you? I think you lied to her, bro.
I did? Did I lie?
She's not the first woman guest that we've had on the podcast.
I just want to start off by saying that
You're under the influence.
Are you spreading misinformation?
I am absolutely.
You know
spreading
people.
misinformation.
You know people get
So,
canceled for.
You know what? I think what it was.
We can't cancel this.
You're the
early?
first Oakwood guest that we've had on, like
Okay.
Oakwood female guest. In my head, when we first started this, we started off by saying that Lynn would be our first guest,
We did.
and because that was stuck in my mind, the episode 13 has already gone out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So obviously, I'm a liar. I'm an absolute liar. No,
But
that was
no,
a bit. That was a bit.
you
That
are
was a bit.
really you're a family member that's here. So we are so glad to have you. Honestly, let's get into our first segment.
Please do. What are you listening to right now?
Yeah, what am I not listening to right now?
That's the question.
Like, I mean, growing up, like my music taste has always been super eclectic. Like I grew up in like a 4-parent home, so it's like each of my parents, like both of my moms, both of my dads, they all gave me a different taste of something different. So like if you know, like on my Instagram, I don't care what's going on, I don't care who look, I don't care who,
I'll
ask
be
me
paying
questions
attention.
about it. It's like I'm gonna post my music on there. I'm gonna post what I'm listening to that day. You
I
know?
appreciate you for that because I post my music too, and I love people who do. And you're part of the people I pay attention to on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm gonna post
you be-
my music
you be
on there
posting
because like
music.
my ear is very different. I listen to pretty much a little bit of everything.
You really
like,
do.
everything. My ear, like in a day, I could go from like Green Day to Lil Baby to Kenny Rogers to Beyonce to like you name it, you know, like I enjoy music in a spiritual way, like in such a way that it feeds me, you know. And I feel like whatever message you want to get, you can get it from all different kind of genres, and that's why it's so important to me
That's real.
to lend my ear to everything, you know. I mean, if it's trash, it's trash, but my opinions are very valid.
Yeah.
You know, but like I just feel like it's important to be able to lend my ear to all different kind of sounds. That's important to me.
That's real.
No, and I've seen that from you because anytime you throw on a playlist, it's always something different. Like you go from one genre to the next, you'd be skipping and hopping. But I actually have one of your playlists from, I don't know if you know this. I follow you on Apple Music.
I do know this because we follow each other. I
Do.
follow
And
you.
I be seeing your little face under under the thing, and I be like, oh, that's Nelly.
It's that
She
little
there
picture
too.
of a little baby.
It is a little baby, and I be
Got a
seeing your
baby
name.
face.
And a playlist that you made. This was years ago.
Okay.
A playlist that you made was 1 Corinthians
13.
You know exactly what
I
I'm
know
talking
exactly
about.
the one.
Yo, that's a beautiful playlist.
Oh, thank you.
It touched my heart because it's full of love. If anybody knows what, you know, that kind of means, it's really just a love playlist in a sense. And I'm a sap, so that works for me. And I go through that, and it's long. Girl, you don't add songs, but it's songs that I love and songs that I've resonated with over time. So it's. I just wanted to let you know that
I appreciate
I've paid
that.
attention to that.
Playlists are very
playlist.
personal to me. And I'm not gonna say like I'm the best at curating playlists, but I will
I'm
say it
there.
in a way that I think I'm really good at it, only because like I think they all go, but I think where it throws people off is like all the genres are all different. Like I can put all different kind of genres, but they have the same topic.
Yeah.
And so for some people, it's like, okay, you jumping around from this to this to this to this to this, and like the song could be hype, but like I mean,
It's the messaging.
listen to the message in the song. You know what I mean?
That's such an interesting take. I've never thought of like making a playlist of, it doesn't matter what the genre of the music is. It's more of what the message of the song is, and they all align. Because you could get so many different, like you could get gospel in the same way you can get rap, in the same way you can get country. And disclaimer, I believe that country has some of the best lyricists of all time.
I'm with you on that.
Of all time.
Absolutely.
I'm with you on that. I actually think they're like top
Absolutely.
3 best writers in any genre.
Yeah.
Top 3.
Yeah.
Country is crazy when it comes to their pen. It's insane.
The way that they use the cadence of words and to manipulate that, I feel like the only thing I can mirror that with would be Eminem. There's a song I'm thinking about right now that I won't mention because it's so explicit.
What? Just say the name.
It's called Country Music Fan.
Okay, never mind.
You know the song. You know the one. You know the
Never
one.
mind, forget it.
And he
Y'all listen to
uses.
y'all own personal time. Listen to
Just go
y'all
look.
personal
Take
time.
a second.
She said, "Don't
go look up that song. I'm not putting it in the
We do
description.
not endorse.
We will
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Not us.
But even still, I mean, amazing wordplay. I mean, phenomenal.
You said
Yeah.
great penmanship.
Yeah.
Like for example, like I have Yeba's Heartbreak in a gospel playlist because that's a gospel song. I don't care what anybody says. That is a gospel song.
Why do you say that? I mean, I'm interested to see why you say that.
Okay, listen to the words. How much better can I show my love for you? And say I do. And all those words. It's like you may not know right where you're going, but I do. How many times have you not known where you were going?
Come on.
God knows where you're going.
Come on. now.
Not
This
trying to make
shit
this
is-
on like, you know,
Bless
it's one of
Shikiri
those
Baba.
things. It's not one of them things, but I'm just saying, you know, listen to the words for real.
I feel
listen
like I'm
to all
in
the
it.
words. It's
Oh, yeah.
like,
I feel like I might be in Ignite right now. It's Sunday. at
Stop
7
playing.
o'clock.
Stop playing.
you tell me,
Sunday.
but it's Sunday. It's Sunday too.
I'm-
Ironically so. But like, that is a gospel song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's applicable to anything you could possibly think of, but like more recently for me, especially if you know, like, my past year, what it's been like, that song for me has carried me through a lot of stuff.
True.
Are you okay if we kind of dive into what you mean by that? Like what?
Of course. Like,
How has that helped you? Because you said that has helped you throughout your year. What kind of year do you think you've had so far, or what have you had so far?
so last year for me, single-handedly has been the hardest, and I'm not gonna say like I won't have a year that is harder than that going forward, but thus far in my 25 years of life, that is the hardest year I've ever had to go through in my life. Like one of those ones that you feel like, okay, I in my human ability, I cannot carry this. Wow. There's no way. There's absolutely no way, especially when things are coming like back to back to
Yeah.
back to
Yeah.
back, like that, you know. I'll say it like this: the beginning of the year, the very beginning of the year, I had already had the intentions from like 2021. At the end of 2021, I had a vision for myself going into 2022. I said, okay, God, I want to be resilient. They always say, like, be careful what you pray for, right? Like, because you'll get it.
Yeah.
Not in the way you want to, but you'll get it.
It's gonna come.
Yeah.
It's going to come.
Yeah.
Just be careful, right? So I said, God, I want to be resilient. I want to have strength. I want to be resilient. So, okay. January,
Yeah.
I had COVID. Right? On my birthday, mind you.
Yikes.
I had COVID in January. In February, I got into a really bad accident that deviated my spine.
You said deviated your spine.
Yes. That deviated my spine.
I felt that. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
adjust myself.
Did you feel it?
Right?
Yeah.
Did you
You see
feel
my
it?
chair, right? You see my chair got this back on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I kinda
it's all
resonate
good.
with you personally on that one.
It's all good.
Yeah, he can relate to you right now.
Yeah, heavy on that.
Yeah.
Someone took who's back.
Please.
I'm sorry.
March, my dog
Get help.
died. Yeah. Some probably happened.
Can I tell you why that?
Go ahead.
After being like a dog owner for like the last 2 years, I have an immense understanding of why like dog people go through what they go through
Yeah.
when they have a loss.
It's hard.
That's a child.
It feels like
That's
losing
a family.
child,
That's
right?
a family member.
Exactly.
So, and how long did you have this dog for?
5-6 years. Yeah, my dog had cancer, so he had just like had surgery and all those things. But I mean, my dog carried me through a lot of stuff. But it was like during those last like few months, I feel like I was carrying him through like all that stuff. He couldn't, having these experiences, just having his presence. Like, dogs are very intuitive.
Absolutely.
They're so intuitive.
No,
like it's
Let me
crazy.
tell you.
Very.
It's so crazy.
It's kind of crazy when you see them. Like I know sometimes when my mom should be coming home, and she'll be like halfway down like the neighborhood, and I'll just see his head pop up, and he goes running down the stairs, and he'll know that she's home before I do, and I'm just like, it's crazy to see like dogs and their intuition.
Yeah.
Back when I was at school, if I was leaving, he would know I was leaving.
Yeah.
Like he'd follow me outside, like kind of do a little circle, like in between my legs, like he'd know I was leaving, right? So that was like what? March, April, probably something happened. Probably nothing happened. I don't even know.
It was just a lot.
March,
I mean,
my
you were
purse.
I remember during that time I talked to you. You were doing like rehab and stuff.
Yeah, I was in PT. I was in PT for a really long time.
Yeah.
I was in so all this is going on, and I'm in PT like twice a week,
Yeah.
sometimes 3 times a week.
How was all this on your mental at this point in time? 'Cause
At this particular point, it was a lot. But I think, because I feel like in life, you will go through the same thing like at like face value at different magnitudes.
yeah.
So I feel like it felt like a familiar place that I'd been before, but just not at this magnitude.
Yes.
Right?
You've hit this point before.
I feel like
Just
I've
at
been
a
there before. I feel like I've been in an
larger
unfamiliar
scale.
place, like in a place that feels like I've never been here before.
Yeah.
A place that feels like, okay, I'm probably gonna be stretched here.
Yeah.
I'm probably, but a place that makes you like, in your humanness, I think it's so easy for people to say like in theory. It's so easy to say things in theory. Like, I can get through this, like I could do this, like, I have a good support. But it's like as a human being, it's like at face value, it's like this is hard. I don't know how anybody could go. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like all these things are going on. I'm in physical therapy at the same time, right? Okay. May comes. I'm like, okay, I'm in physical therapy. Like, I feel okay. Like, I can do this. Like, if I could be in physical therapy for the rest of, the year, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
May comes, end of May, my purse gets stolen. Right?
ID.
No, actually, here's where the thing about it, like, is, like, super great. Is, like, I had my wallet. So, like, all my, like, cards, all my, like, money, like, all that, like,
That's
my
a blessing.
purse, like, little stuff, like, my glasses.
What kind of purse was it?
It's like
Listen,
Steve Madden, but I had my Gucci glasses in it, though.
let's not forget who we talking to right now.
That's a fact.
This is
That's a
Nelly.
fact.
all
Both
right?
of my AirPods got stolen.
Oh,
Both of
not
them?
one.
Yeah.
So you
both
got
of my
about
AirPods
you got about a
got-
band in there. About a band.
There was
I
a little
mean?
something in
Yeah,
there.
I
It was
mean,
nothing
look,
crazy.
And then the
but, like,
bag.
regular
And then the
things.
bag.
Oh, and my
Then the
car
bag.
keys got stolen. My car keys got stolen.
Yeah, that's
What you
a problem.
driving?
Well, we're gonna get into that.
Oh, okay,
We're gonna get into
You're
that
right,
in a
yeah,
few.
car
We're gonna get
accident,
car accident.
That's right.
Okay. So sometime in like June, I'm like, it's a random day in June, and I'm like, okay, God. I pray this prayer. I'm on my way to physical therapy, mind you. I prayed this prayer, and I said, okay, God. Whatever else you have left for me, because it's like it's stuff happening back to back to back to back to back, and I'm like, okay, God, whatever you have for me, give me the strength to carry it. This is like a Tuesday. It's like June 6th. No, it's June 7th.
This is mid year at this point.
Yeah, mid-year. We are now at the mid-year mark. It is June 7th. I know this specifically. It is
Wow.
June 7th. I'm on my way to PT. I carry on the day as usual. You know, my PT is kicking, my physical therapy is kicking my behind. My therapist, he didn't play.
Really?
He was kicking my behind.
He's trying to get you back to 100%.
100%. He did not play.
That's real.
That's real.
That's real.
That's
You
a
know,
good- that's a
I'm
good
like,
PT.
okay. I walked with him through it because, you know what I'm saying? He had his best interest. Like, he had my best interest at heart.
Absolutely.
He really did. You know, how badly I wanted to get back to 100%. He saw that. He was
Yeah.
like, okay, got you. I carry on the day as usual, going to work. It's like the middle of the day. My mom does not call me in the middle of the day because she knows I'm at work.
Yeah.
I see a missed call. I'm out like on the balcony at work. I see a missed call. I'm like, it can't be nothing. Like, but she knows I'm at work, so I don't know why she's calling me. But I'm gonna investigate. It's like 15 minutes have passed.
Sure.
She calls me. She's like, yeah, she was like, yeah, your dad died. Mind you, this is my other dad, my uncle, who is my dad. I had, like I said, two dads. I grew up in two dads, two moms. My uncle, who is my dad, that he died. And I was like, I know what I said earlier today, guys. That's not what I meant.
Yeah. That was the same day you made
That's
that
the
prayer.
same day I made that prayer, the same exact day. But that is not what I meant. You know? I say all those really horrible things to say this.
Yes.
By the time I get to December, right? I'm looking back, and I'm like, I did say I wanted to be resilient, didn't I?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is like, I'm talking about, I feel like I can bear through anything. I can go through anything. Like, I'm so resilient. Like, I have so much strength. I have so much resilience that I feel like if I can go through all those things back to back to back to back, I mean, like, no rest, back to back.
Yeah.
Still in PT.
Like, I can do anything,
Yeah.
My guess is a fighter. You're a fighter.
you know? And for that, that's why I wake up every single day. Like, if my feet can touch the ground, I'm grateful. If I can make it out that accident,
You're grateful.
I'm grateful. If I can lose all these things, I'm grateful. You know, if I have this vision for my life, it's like, okay, whatever comes with it, I can take it. I can take it.
You've even through this story that you just told, you've always been like a beacon of hope for a lot of people.
Facts.
I don't know if you know this.
I gotta hear this. Let me just be quiet.
You've been a beacon of hope, and I've seen this from afar. How many people resonate with you because of the energy that you put out. Nelly, you have a natural pureness to you that I think a lot of people gravitate towards. And I've seen it through your leadership style and the way that you've presented yourself to other folks. They can't help but like not want to be around you because you give that. It's a very like a nurturing type of feel to it that is. It creates a space for vulnerability for a lot of people, and your resilience, I think this past year is only opened the space up more for you to be that type of person. So like, despite everything that you went through, I want you to know like your impact will be greater than it's ever been. Because you don't go through something like that for no reason. That's not how life works.
Yeah.
And I was seeing some of this from afar because you're pretty active on social media, but this past year you weren't.
Correct.
Correct. And that translated. So now seeing that now, like you have a real story to tell. Like it will translate for others. Like trust and believe. So I guess another question I have is: you asked for resilience last year. This year, what are you asking for?
Courage.
Mm.
Every single day that I wake up in the morning, at least these days, is courage. You know, you can have an idea to do certain things, want to do these things, you know, want to accomplish these things, have these goals to do this, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It could be super small, it could be big. But to be able to do it, you kind of need the courage.
That's absolutely. A fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
And I feel like I'm in a space where I kind of need like blind courage, because whether I have it or not, I still have to do it.
Yes.
And that's what I pray for.
I love that those are your two things that you asked for back to back, because once you have both of those things, like the courage paired with the resiliency, like you can really go through anything, you can accomplish anything.
That's a fact. Because
you're putting yourself in so many different situations where when and if you succeed, like, you know, that's all, there's so much there for you. And you're going to be able to make it through that because you have that resiliency.
Yeah.
So like that pairing of things to ask for is like really perfect to me.
No, it's a beautiful mix of two things. Like you have everything that you need as far as the resilience. You went through that phase. Now you're getting that courage.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if you did that on purpose, but like I love that. That's where you're going with things.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't necessarily say that I did it on purpose. I would say that I felt like, okay, once I had this resiliency that I knew, now I have like the concrete evidence that I could do whatever and like go through whatever, and I would still be able to withstand the fire, right? I had the concrete evidence that I could do it. It's just a matter of just doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever it is I want to do, it's just doing it. And then being able to face whatever comes with it.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
You are the essence of MWTI.
I mean, it really shows, like you were saying earlier, the leadership. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, resilience and courage are two great characteristics to have as a leader. So, wow. Very inspiring.
No, that was
an amazing, but like left and right, you throwing haymakers at me.
No,
like,
listen, you got me here.
What?
Well, I'm just honored to be on here. That's it. I'm just honored to be on here. I mean, like, when I got the call, when I got the text, I was like, is that a question? Is that a real question? Like,
no, I had to have the phone.
I'm gonna be on the pod. Like, I don't care what's going on. I don't care if I'm at work. I don't care if it's hailing. I don't care what's going on. I'm on the pod. You know, you kind of have that little question of like, okay, because, you know, this podcast to me, it means a lot to me because y'all are real on here. You know, y'all are very honest. Y'all are very vulnerable. Y'all talk about some real stuff, you know. Being able to share, I was just like, okay, like, what's my limit in being able to do that?
Right.
You know?
You put no limits on you, my goodness.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because in doing this, like, that's really a big barrier, or not even barrier. That's just a big question that anyone who comes on has for themselves, even us.
Yeah.
Like how, because every day isn't going to be the same. Like
Right.
one show you may come in like, man, I'm gonna talk about anything, like whatever.
Yeah.
I'm open to anything. Other days you may be kind of going through like, ooh, do I want to open up this part of myself?
Right.
Yes.
This audience of people who, I mean, I kind of know who's listening, but I really don't in reality.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's a big part of it. Like, even for us.
No, it's actually been a learning curve. Actually, this is a quick side note because you just said this. Shout out to anybody who's actually put out any content in general. This process of actually putting out the podcast has taught me a lot about just the amount of work that goes in behind the scenes, and like the amount of work that goes in to just put something from nothing together.
Yeah, say it again.
Something to nothing to something together. Like, that's real.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen the way, like, the team behind the scenes, like Derek, Matthew, Drew, like the way they put together, even get the footage, everything. It's not just, hey, we put out this episode and now we out. You know, like there's real work that goes behind that. And sometimes you really got to think about, even just coming on here, like you said, being vulnerable. Like what parts of your life do you actually want to be vulnerable with? And I'm learning to show up as myself everywhere I go. Yeah. That's been a part of like my big part of my year. That's been my promise to God this year. I can only show up as myself.
Yeah, I feel you on that. And you know, I think something that really shines is you're unapologetically you. Like
I try.
That's it. Like you're just you, and you own that, and that is something that I admire in just human beings in general, because we try to be something that we're not. And speaking of people that have been trying to be something that they're not, we have had we have seen a couple of things in the news recently.
Oh, let's get into this.
Let's get into it.
Our good sir over in Memphis with all the little, you know what I'm saying?
I got some words on that.
Wick.
I got some words on that.
Please tell us what you think about that whole situation. And for those who don't know.
Yeah, let's give a quick like overview of what has happened.
Yes.
So to my knowledge, John Morant was on Instagram Live and he flashed a gun and then he put it back immediately. And in my head, I'm thinking, you did that and then you knew how you couldn't take it back because it's alive. So you just kind of smiled through the pain. And now he's kind of on a leave of absence from the team. He said,
his little blicky was on the dress.
You know what's also crazy about that? I heard he wasn't even drunk. He didn't have anything to drink that night.
No, he was completely sober.
It's like, come on, bro.
He was just having a... Okay, so... Here's how I feel about it. I mean, I feel like it's very nuanced. It's very layered, right? Should he have done it? Absolutely not. You know what I mean? Because I feel like not even about like respectability politics. Because y'all know I don't even subscribe to that. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like you know what is rooted in, you know? Right. And so it's like at certain times it's like that's not even something I would even consider for real. It's not even about that. But should he have done it in the position that he's in? Because he's supposed to be in a leadership role. Absolutely he's very young, you know? Yeah. But I feel like that's where one thing that I subscribe to, that I believe, that I will always believe, is that multiple things can be true at the same time.
Absolutely.
And so in the way that, yes, should he have done it? Probably not. Is he young? Absolutely. Is that I feel like now the way that it is being portrayed in the media is that, I mean, we're not leaving too much room for grace, you know, like where multiple things are true. Like should he have done it? No, absolutely not. But he's young, you know, like give him room to grow into it and be like, okay, I made my mistake. I did this, you know.
But that's the thing about the media though. They don't give room for grace for anybody. Like, there's not a point in time where they're looking at you like, oh yeah, you did this, here's this.
Are there some folks who do not deserve grace? Absolutely. But I feel like, again, he is young.
Name him.
He's in, you know.
Talk about him.
He's in this position where he is being thrust into this leadership position and he's incredibly talented. So, you know, especially being in the limelight at this magnitude at such a young age, it's like...
He's what, 4 years into the league? 5?
Yeah, but mind you, he's younger than us.
Yeah, I know. That's what's crazy.
You know?
Crazy.
I will say, like, and it's also a thing where, you know, this hasn't really been a theme with him up until maybe like this past season.
Recently.
Like you never really hear about John Morant getting in trouble like outside of, you know, off the court, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do like that you made that point. He is young. He doesn't really have an extensive track record with instances like this.
Yeah.
I personally haven't heard anyone like really kill him other than to say like, okay, that was super dumb. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
It was.
No, they tried to prosecute him. They tried to get him on.
I feel like
on
people have pretty much had like the same consistency on the thing. Like, okay, that was really dumb, Jack. Come on, you know, like it was stupid. But like recently, like had them releasing like the photos like from the club. Like, what's that about?
He wasn't even really holding the gun. Let's be real. He wasn't hurting anybody doing this.
It was a little blicky. It was a little something.
It was
absolutely not. That was really dumb. But it's like you could have left that blicky on the dresser.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
Twitter had me weak though. They was going crazy on that man. You said in the trunk.
Yeah, TikTok is taking over my brain.
Put that in the little smoke tray in the car. It could have fit. Let's be honest.
He could have left that in the glove compartment.
He could have stayed in the car, bro.
Definitely could have been in the little.
You know?
little
He
side
didn't need to
pocket.
bring it to the club.
He didn't
wasn't
have to
doing
do
nothing
all
with
that. I feel like he's young. He's having a good
how
time.
much? How much is he making? What's his contract?
I don't know.
200 million.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
okay.
on a max contract.
He's on a max 100.
He's the star player of the
200,
Memphis,
250 million? Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So see, this is I understand giving grace, but there's also a point in time where you understand the role that you're in.
193
That's what I'm saying.
million.
So that's what I'm saying. The multiple things. So it's like, okay, give him grace, but at the same time, that's what I'm saying. You are,
Correct.
although you are young in this position, now is the time to step into your role.
Yes.
You know, you have, but I do understand that for some people, it's like you have to grow into that. Like,
Yeah.
if you've never had like the perfect example firsthand, I'm not saying like his parents are not good parents or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying at all. But just like being in that position.
Yes.
Right?
think-
If you're their first introduction to a certain thing, you know, you can't automatically know like what to do. But I think give yourself the chance to grow into it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I agree with that. I think just in terms of looking at it from like a sports, like a basketball perspective, I think what this kind of shows me is that, like you said, he's not really ready at this moment to be like the undisputed leader of like a team.
Yeah.
Because he still has a lot growing up to do.
Yeah. He showed us he's not no LeBron James.
You know,
That's a good point. And LeBron deserves a lot of credit for like kind of always. I mean, I think he's gotten like a lot of flack for kind of coming across kind of corny along the way. But
Absolutely.
one thing you
Yes.
cannot take away from him is that he's tried to be like an example.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And he's done his best to do that too.
Yeah,
He's
he has
done
done his
very
absolute best. And I mean, although there are certain times where I mean, I will always he's my favorite, but like you know, I will always credit him as a leader. And some people may not have been able to accept that on the various teams that he's been on. You know, they may not have been able to accept that. Like, okay, what's up with this guy? Like, what's going on? You know, but like he's done his best. You know, he hasn't been perfect, absolutely not, but he's done his best. You know, and I feel like when you attempt to get to that certain kind of level, especially as a player,
Yeah.
you want to be in that conversation of like being one of the greats.
Yeah.
I mean, some people don't have that intention of being in that conversation. They just want to make it. Like their only goal is to make it to the league.
No, that's a good point.
That's facts.
You know what
And
I'm
ride
saying?
that bench.
And just,
Bro,
I mean,
that's
whether
a-
you ride that
ride
bench,
the
whether
bench,
you
you
get some
lit,
PT,
bro.
like whatever, it's like
lit.
their whole, like, I mean, their only goal, like when they're like in high school or if they're like in college playing college ball, it's like, I just want to make it to the league, and that's their ultimate goal. And once they make it there, it's like, okay, do whatever it is to maintain that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want, but I'll do whatever it takes to make sure I maintain that and I can stay in the league because that was my goal. I make sure I
Niggas
maintain
just want to
that.
hoop.
Some folks
You
just
know
want
what
to
I'm saying?
move,
Just
you know?
Ooh, bro.
They don't want to be in a go
Nah,
conversation. So like,
bro,
I
they
think,
just wanna
you know,
hoop.
I think one thing that kind of like annoyed me a little bit, and like I said, you know, I love LeBron, but I don't like how people always convert every conversation to compare it to LeBron. Like everybody's goal and everybody's purpose is not LeBron's purpose. You know, his purpose was already written for him when he got to the league. It was already written.
That little boy from Akron.
You
Ain't
know?
that GOAT status though? Ain't that the GOAT status that you really have? Like, if everybody's comparing you to somebody, like you're the comparison.
You are the comparison.
That's insane.
Like, I feel like I'm not saying you know everybody's not. That's not their
He's
goal.
the standard.
He is the standard
Jordan's the
I hear what you're saying, though.
to you.
Jordan's the
Please, please.
The last thing.
Jordan is the icon. LeBron is the standard currently.
No, Jordan is the standard. 6 rings.
Are we really talking about rings?
Yes, we are.
Okay. That's a whole different conversation.
All right, so
I wanted to get your blood.
I
I
want-
know how much you love. I know you love LeBron.
I want Bronny and LeBron to play together,
I want
or
them
at
to
least
play
against each other. Something.
Not
I want
together.
him to try and
You want
dunk
to
on
see
his
them play
dad.
against each
I
other?
want to see them play
I don't think
against
that would
each
look
other.
good.
You don't want to see a LeBron alley-oop?
Absolutely.
That'd be
You know
kind
how
of crazy.
crazy that would be?
No,
Absolutely
honestly, that would
not.
break the internet. I ain't gonna lie.
Because they stay in the same house, you know, like I think that it would be so great
Imagine the
to
chemistry.
see them against
that's
each
a
other.
fact.
Insane. Father
Like,
son
Father
on the
son,
court
son,
for a
like,
season.
And Bronny's like a shooter. Like,
Yeah.
I think the other players would hate him though.
I want to see them against
There
each
has to be
other.
bias on the.
I don't care. I don't care.
I mean, how great would it be to see them play
No,
together, like
no,
on the
that'd be
same
fire.
team? But
That's
like,
what I'm saying. That'd be fire.
I want to see them play against each other.
You know,
feel me?
You know,
no, LeBron having to
Go set
guard
that up.
Bronny would be. I don't know. I would feel kind of bad. Like what?
I
Like
feel like Bronny's getting
That's good.
waxed. That's your dad. He's
Yeah.
killing you every time.
He's gonna kill
He's
you
not gonna
every
let you.
time.
He's not gonna let you get in the paint.
just from
Now
like
you
a
slap.
size perspective. Like,
Yeah,
It's not.
you're
That's
not
kinda like
bodying.
bullying.
Yeah, but then again, if Bronny could hit a dunk on LeBron, just like Jason Tatum.
Highlights, boy.
I feel like Jason Tatum be sunning LeBron every single time he can. He gets the chance.
Difference
Wouldn't
is
you?
Jason Tatum is like 6'8". LeBron is
Yeah,
also
right.
6'8".
How tall is
Bronny is
Bronny?
like 6'2", 6'3".
Oh, I thought he was
No,
He
6'6".
still got time to grow. No,
He
how
still
old
has
is
time to
he?
go. He's 17, about to turn 18.
Come on, bro. He's still growing. He got like what, 5 more years of growth?
Yeah.
No.
No?
When do boys stop growing?
they-
That's
like
not my,
23.
area of
I'm always
expertise.
growing. I'm a young man.
Right. Okay.
You know, we grow.
Yeah.
Oof. Who's gonna tell him?
Who's gonna tell
Who
him?
can tell what?
Who's gonna tell
Who
him?
can tell what?
Yeah. It's coming real soon. Where you at, 23 right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Okay, and if it's coming real soon, then I'm gonna grow as much as I can until then.
Where you
Yeah,
gonna get
good luck.
tippy toes? Yeah, what you doing?
I'm like
Stretching?
35. 35 is the
35.
Right.
Yeah,
Not the
35 is the
cutoff.
age.
That's so anti-scientific, you know?
Anti-scientific.
We are an anti-science podcast.
We don't like science over
Please
here.
no. Please no. Please no. Please no.
Yeah,
I mean, well,
get all that
speaking of men, when I have a question for you.
Okay.
I would like your perspective on this topic. And you know what's crazy? It always feels like this is about to be some, we need to perch our ears. He's about to get canceled. Like, everybody's looking for a reason. Like, no.
scared.
These are conversations that we want to have. Like, come on.
You know,
Get serious.
Somebody's waiting for you to get canceled, bro.
And I know it is. And you niggas praying on my downfall. You know what I'm saying, bro? See, anyways, the question is this. What has been the biggest barrier in dating from talking stage to relationship? And Sean, you posed this question to us before we started. And I want you to kind of like hone in on what you meant by that.
So kind of what I was talking about was in the process of like getting to know someone and whatever term you want to use, talking to them or like dating them casually. I feel like a lot of times things kind of fall apart in that stage. Like before you get to the stage where, you know, that's your person, y'all are officially like together. And so I feel like for each person, a lot of times there's like a theme, like something like prevents things from taking that next step.
Yeah.
And I was kind of wondering, like, for you guys, what have those like themes been? Like, is it kind of the same thing, like as you've gone through life, or is it, you know, just depends on the person? You think?
Okay. So was the question like in general or like my personal experience on dating?
I really want to
I
hear
can
your
give you
personal
both.
experience.
Yeah, I think like for each person personally, like it's a
You can do
question.
both.
I could do
Because I am
both.
curious for both, but I am
Right.
curious personal because I got personal in my head right now.
Okay. I don't really have too many personal, but I can give you personal.
Okay.
In my mind, I feel like the honesty about intentions need to be very clear. And I think that that's something that people kind of hold back, right? Like you have this idea that, okay, well, if I keep this from somebody, that'll kind of keep them like on the leash for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I can continue doing what I'm doing for a while. I can buy myself some time.
Yeah.
I can do what I'm doing. Yeah. And I'm not talking about like I'm just talking about in general, but also in my case, because one thing I don't like, because one thing about me, I'm honest.
Yeah.
You know, I will be honest with you, and I'll tell you right now, like, I date a bunch of folks at the same time. Like, I'm young, I'm dating. Like, I'm not exclusively dating anybody.
You let them know, girl.
You know what I mean? I'm not exclusively dating anybody until it's time to exclusively date somebody. You know? So for me, when I think about like the idea about like talking, like social media has ruined like the whole like dating process, you know, adding all these unnecessary titles of like what you're doing or the status of what you're doing, all these statuses that don't even matter. Like you're talking, what are we talking about exactly? You are actually dating. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to date
When did
multiple
talking
people.
become a thing?
I don't know. I think it's nonsense and we need to eradicate that like from the community in general.
Yeah.
I low-key feel like, I don't know, I have no basis behind this, but I feel like it had to do with the like creation of texting. Like when you text someone, you're like talking to them.
For sure.
Like, yeah, we just text.
But like, I'm talking to y'all right now. You know
Yeah,
what I
we
mean?
are
Like,
talking.
we're talking right now. Like, what do we have to talk about?
is this a date?
So, this is not a date.
Is this a date?
Unless we want to call this a foursome date,
You know
we
what I
can
mean?
do that. We can call it that. But like,
thanks.
like my my idea about it is just like, you know what I mean? You can call it exactly what it is, even if you are kind of antsy about like the terms.
Yeah.
You are dating.
Yeah.
You're not talking. You are dating. you're not exclusively dating somebody. You can be honest about your intentions with somebody. It's like, okay, I am getting to know many people right now to understand like what I like, what I don't like. That's dating. That's the process of dating. Dating is fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fun if you let it be and you don't add all these terms to it. Now, when you decide that you want to, okay, I want to dedicate myself to this person because I let, they have the things, like they meet these terms of the things that matter to me. These things matter to me. This person meets those terms. Let's date. Intentionally date.
Yeah.
That's intentionally dating. That's exclusively dating. You know what I mean? And I want people to know you can change your mind at any time. If it no longer serves you, no longer serves you. That's okay. But that also goes into this whole idea about like ghosting or whatever, because people don't want to be honest. Just be honest. It's not hard to do.
Yeah.
Now, if they can't take that, the honesty that you provide, you don't have to say it in like a horrible way. Honesty doesn't have to be harsh or cruel.
Yeah.
Honesty can be very kind.
And she approaches everything.
Approaches everything. It's not
Approaches
deep,
everything.
but just be honest. Now, if they can't take it, that's not on you.
That's a fact.
That's you feeding into your like people pleasing. You know what I mean? Like trying to hold this because it may hurt this person's feelings. Other people's feelings are not in your hands.
My good sis, have you been to therapy?
Yes.
I can hear it. I think for me, everything that you said is so correct. For me, the talking stage to actual dating is it's indicative of genuine interest.
Yeah.
I can tell. There's certain things I think I look for subconsciously that will click immediately if I feel that. If I don't, my body will know, or I will know, and I'll just be like, it's not time to move yet. So I think it's a little bit of discernment and just understanding real genuine interest to go from here to here.
What has your process been in like when you feel that thing that says, okay, this is not working anymore? What has your process been?
That's hard. I think my process is I communicate. So I would have to, I just genuinely would say, hey, I enjoy you as a person, but I don't see this going this way anymore. Because if I don't do that, I will look like a terrible person because I'm not a good communicator when it comes to outside of when it comes to texting or anything like that. If I don't let you know in the moment, it's gonna look like I'm being a bad guy.
Right.
And I'm genuinely not. I'm just my communication style is a little sporadic because I have ADHD.
Me too.
It's bad. so I'll think I replied to you, but I didn't. So that's neither here nor there, but it's one of those things where if it's not genuine interest, if I don't feel like you really care about me, because the way I'm a very passionate person. So if I care about you, you're gonna see that immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. And for me, I don't want to just dispose that on people if I don't feel like I'm gonna get that. Not even so much I'm gonna get that back, but I gauge what that looks like as far as that relationship goes and see if I want to further that or not.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at it.
Got you, Sean. You want to have anything to say?
I can. Let me first preface by saying I successfully made it to the talking stage.
Yeah.
Come on.
We love favorite.
Hallelujah. Congrats to you, my brother.
Shout out to
Dania.
Shout out to Dania.
My good sis.
Yo, she be watching the episode. Shout out to you, Dania. She's a real one. She's a real one.
Yes. But yeah, for me, so I'm big on using time as a tool to learn, learn more about my potential partner. So in the time that we're dating or talking, whatever, getting to know each other, there are things that you learn about the person just in kind of more consistently interacting with them that you don't necessarily pick up on in the initial, do I like this person? We've hung out a couple times. Over time, there's more things that you have to learn and that can really kind of make or break whether this is a person I can see myself being with long term.
Yeah.
And so for me, I've used that, kind of, it can be kind of an awkward stage.
Yeah.
I've used that time period to really hone in for myself on if this is a person I want to be with, like on the longer time frame.
Right.
And I like to let time reveal things. That's kind of like been my MO. But yeah, it's just, it'll be little things that kind of, let you know, like, in your reaction to those things, like, is this something that I'm willing to tolerate? Is this something that is important enough to me to make like a deal breaker? But yeah, that's kind of been my experience. But yeah.
That's interesting because I have no words for that. I do have another question to follow up because I am so young. I have been in a relationship, but it was a long time. And I don't want to say it was a long time ago, but I definitely resonate with some of the things that you're saying because, I mean, at the time I was young and I've matured a lot more since then. So in my maturity, I'm now trying to get myself back out there. Not necessarily like, get into another relationship because that is not currently on my mind. I have so much going on. And I would like to be responsible as an adult now.
Yes.
And not be like, I can give you my time and not actually give you my time.
Boom. That's real.
So my question is,
Go ahead.
why is it that when I'm ready to talk to somebody though, why are we taking so long to text back? Like, why am I looking at my phone, putting it down for 5 minutes after I just got a text from you? Like, no, why can't I just respond and it not be weird? Or is that like a childish thing?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a childish thing or it's a weird thing. It's an internal thing. You have to discuss those like internal things like with yourself. Is it that you get anxious when the messages come through, right? Or if the messages, like the potential, like if the messages will come through. Not even if they do, but if they will, right? Or if it'll be a response that I think will be conducive, like to my mental sanity at the moment.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like something that's not going to send me on like a downward spiral.
Got you.
You know, that's something that you have to address to yourself. Because for me, one thing I'm very big on, especially now, that's like my motto now.
Yeah.
Is there's like this Maya Angelou quote.
Ooh.
And like that's like I follow it with everything that I do. Is like tell the truth to yourself first and then to the children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I cannot tell whoever this, that, and the third if I can't tell it to myself. Because the hardest truth is to tell it to yourself.
Yes.
Right.
That's the hardest one.
That's very
Because
true.
once I come to terms with it myself, I know the answer about what I'm supposed to do.
Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Because on the back end of it, I may have this thing that I want to do, but if I tell the actual truth to myself first, I'm not going to do that.
That's a fact.
But what I want to do feels good to me.
Absolutely. It always feels good.
You know, it always feels good. You know, it's selfish. You know, at our very core, everybody is selfish at their very core.
Yeah.
You know, and so a big piece of that is being able to tell that truth to yourself first. So if the truth is that you're anxious, tell that to yourself first. If the truth is that, okay, I'm not ready, but I'm bored, that's the truth to yourself.
That is true.
That's real.
So you have to figure out what that is to yourself first, but you have to take the time, not busy yourself and do this. Like, of course you're busy.
Right.
Do the things that make you busy, do all those things, you know what I'm saying? But there's unnecessary busyness also.
Yeah.
And so don't cloud yourself with all these things. Make the time to have that conversation with yourself. And it's nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? We're not on a podcast talking to yourself.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
But have that time to be honest with yourself. You got to write it down. If you have to say it out loud, say it out loud. But make sure you tell that truth to yourself first.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's hard for people to be honest with themselves?
I think I know.
Mirror
That's the one.
is the hardest thing to look at.
Yeah.
When you look at yourself in the morning, it's not Instagram.
Yeah.
When you walk in that bathroom, it's not Instagram.
There's no filter.
It's not a tweet.
There's nothing.
I can't tweet it away. I can't Instagram it away. I can't. God forbid you still snapping in the year of our Lord 2023.
Hey, they still got some good filters on there.
Please stop.
But if you snap it in the year of our Lord 2023, you can't snap it away either. When you look in that mirror,
it's just
it's you, yourself.
What Moneybag say?
you.
It's me versus me.
It's you versus you. You are the first person you look at. You're the first person you talk to. You're the first person you interact with every morning.
Yeah.
When you before you even put them feet on the floor.
Yeah.
It's hard because you know the truth of yourself, but there's always like this internal fear that if, of course, I can recognize the truth about myself, other people will see that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a fact.
the fear that, oh my God, like people will see me in the way that I see myself because we are our biggest critic.
Yeah.
You know,
That is the truth. That is the truth. I think that's why speaking kind words to yourselves is words of affirmation in general is a very big thing. And I feel like to self needs to happen more often.
yeah.
People don't do that enough. They talk ill about themselves, and what you speak becomes real. And I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people don't understand the power of the tongue. Once you realize what the tongue can do, you can change lives.
I agree with that because it's so pompous to say that you are
Ooh, I like
the
that
best and like
That word
word. I like that word.
rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, he said he thought we were gonna let that slide. He said pompous.
Maybe this guy is British.
Yo,
I think he's the highest
been,
number.
you know, I might start believing you, bro. That's crazy.
no, but
Pompous.
seriously, like you're just it just feels so big headed to be like, oh yeah, I'm literally the best at what I do. Like I am him. Like it just feels so conceited to say these things. But I say it every single day to myself because I want it to become my reality. I want to be able to say like, yeah, I am him, and I'm also X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
I want to say this. It's important to be able to big yourself up because if you can't do it, who else? Like, how do you expect
Who
anybody
else
else to
gonna
do that?
do it?
Right?
Who
But
else
I feel
gonna do
like,
it?
you know,
Yeah.
there's a thin line.
You gotta.
That's a fact.
You gotta totally.
You know,
a fact.
because like there's a thing where it's like, okay, you telling these things to yourself to make yourself believe that is exactly what you are, and you haven't addressed all these other things too. Sometimes that's a mask, like sometimes like a blanket to cover the things of like, okay, I have to address these things. Like again, it also goes back to that original topic. Multiple things can be true at the same time.
That's a fact.
Yes, I am him, but as him, as a human being, like I'm him with all these flaws behind it.
Or her.
Him or her.
To be him or her.
You must be home.
Or they.
To be they.
To be they, you must
Yeah.
be home.
I beg your pardon.
You know?
I beg your pardon. To be
To be
they.
them, you must be home.
I'm not
You know,
even- I'm not
it's
even
like-
talking about that.
You can be him, her, they, whatever. But
To
know
be
that,
it,
okay,
you must be.
Please.
these are the things that contribute to me being him. Like, because I have all these flaws
Right.
and I'm able to address them, I am him, her, they, whatever.
Exactly.
That, like, these are the things, like, I think that even with our flaws, like, we're so quick to, like, brush them to the side. Like, okay, like, I don't even want them. Like, I want to be able to eradicate these, like, as soon as possible, eminently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, what? You don't know because you're this flawed person. Like, there are certain things you need to address, yes, but because I have to go through this and I do this and I do this and I am this person, they are what contribute to me being this person.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
I mean, I had to ask because
that was a good one.
you know what? I almost chose violence. I
wish you did, though.
I'm like, what's holding you back, friend? What's
What's
holding you back?
is like,
What is holding you back?
I'll tell you. I can tell you.
Okay.
I like.
I'm genuinely a good person.
I know it.
Like I can't help
know it.
I can't
I
help
know
but being
it.
a good person because that's the way I was raised.
And it's true.
And there are certain people that have told me that I have this Michael Jordan complex, and I think it's as a direct result of me being a good person. Because
wait.
In what way? Talk to me about that. In
What kind
way?
of parallel multiverse?
no, listen,
I'm confused.
let
What
me
way?
allow
What
me
way?
to
Go ahead.
explain.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
please.
go ahead.
So
Let him cook.
I'm a good person because I choose to be. Like,
Okay.
it's a choice. It's a choice every single day. I could decide to be selfish most times, but I find myself choosing the right thing. And in doing that, I'm like, wow. And I know this sounds crazy, but I'm like, wow. I'm really a nice guy. You know what I mean?
So wait, I have a question
Yeah.
to just kind of get in between that.
Yeah.
Define good person. Because the reason why I'm asking
can't.
that, because the only reason why I'm asking that is you say you can choose
I'm
to be
ready.
selfish, but sometimes
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing to be selfish.
I'll give you an
so
example.
it depends on what you mean by that.
Right.
Define good person.
So I think that the conscious effort to find out what the right thing is in every situation, I do that every day. Like, I'm a huge overthinker. If there is a better option for everyone to be benefit from whatever's going on, I'm going to choose that option versus what could potentially help me. Yeah.
You have to get your
Can I tell you what I think it might be?
Please tell me, Hensley. Like, help me.
Talk to us, Hensley. I gotta hear this.
I think it fuels you. I think you use that as a way to like motivate you. Like for me, like in a way, like let's say you've something small, like you said, you got to get your lick back. That's what you use as a motivator to get to that next step.
I agree.
That's what Jordan did, essentially. I'm assuming that's what the Jordan complex was speaking on. He fueled those little moments, whether it was big or small, and he inflated those moments so that it was enough of like a fuel to get him to that next step. Like in the Last Dance documentary, they talked about how the team packed for like two away games. Jordan packed for one.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have the mindset that he was going to be there for 2 games.
Yeah.
And that was probably because somebody said something to him that was probably really small.
He's my favorite petty person.
Oh, when it comes to petty, he takes it to the next level.
King. But before we close off into the last segment, I really want to talk about you because, we talked about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Tell us, because the Gwinnelly I know, Ignite Mama. That's number 1. For all my OU people, they know what I'm talking about right now. Ignite. Number 2, law school. Poli-sci. That's where I knew you from. That's where I was like, okay, that's, you up there with Samela. You up there with a couple of folk that I know.
Yeah.
And now I'm hearing before the episode starts, we're talking about you're interested in architecture and you're in the health department. And
you do a lot, my good son.
What's up?
You do a lot.
What is up?
The multi-hyphenate mother.
Put us on to your way to it.
The multi-hyphenate mother. Life is crazy. I'll boil it down to that. That's like the preface of that is life is crazy. And that whatever piece of life that you're in, it sets you up for the bigger picture. Whether you believe that you're supposed to be there or you're not supposed to be there, like sit in it. And that's my message to everybody. Wherever you are, whether you believe you're supposed to be there or you're not supposed to be there, sit in it. Do your best, be the best in it, sit in it. So I'll do a short backstory is that my entire life, Sean, if you can remember, because we go back, way back. Drew, also, if you can remember too, I always wanted to be a doctor. I was always supposed to be an OBGYN. I wanted to be an OBGYN since I was a toddler. And my entire pathway obviously not up until this point, but up until college was leading me to that. I'm a straight A student. I'm top of my class, like all those things. Internships, I'm working at DeKalb Medical. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm working at the Bobby Bailey Tower.
You be doing that thing. That's crazy. Scholar.
That's crazy.
Scholar.
Above and beyond.
Come on.
I've always believed in doing above and beyond. If it's a project,
she got to do the thing.
I gotta do my thing. I gotta do my big one. Like I'm like an architect. If it's like, okay, you have to show me like a small little drawing of like a thing. I know I'm building the mall. The project was drawing the mall. I built the mall.
I love that energy.
You know what I mean? That's always been my mindset. I gotta go above and beyond because that's just who I am. I'm extra. You know, very dramatic. I'm very extra. So if there's like a margin, it's like, okay, yeah, we can't be this close together. We need to be like this. I need to be here. You need to be here. You know.
That's how I feel.
We got.
And everything from my life has taught me like, okay, like that's the wrong mindset, but I'm gonna get there in a second. It's like, okay, so that was my entire life, but like above me wanting to be a doctor, my dream was going to Harvard. Right? I had that goal since I was like 3.
3?
Any adult in my life could tell you that. It's
Mad
true.
Thing. Mad thing.
She said 3.
Harvard at 3.
You know what I was doing at 3?
Not.
Probably chewing on rocks.
Okay.
I don't know how I knew these things, but I knew these things, and that was my goal.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
That was my goal my entire
3 is
life.
kind of old to.
My nigga. Did you just mean to say rocks?
No.
Or
Let me tell you, I was a weird ass kid. My mom could tell you.
we're not even gonna.
I wasn't chewing
That was
on
your whole
rocks
thing?
for real.
Mercy.
I wasn't actually.
I'm sorry. You threw me off. Rocks. So you're telling me you're shaving your teeth right now? Your mom is coming outside to you putting pebbles in your mouth, sir?
With rocks?
No, absolutely.
I feel like that's a separate conversation that we have to talk about.
Listen.
We have to talk about that.
I was exaggerating. I'm sorry.
Had to have been. Had to have been. There's no
All
way.
I'm saying is I wasn't talking about going to Harvard at no 3 years old. That's it. That was
I was
that
though.
was the
You see what I mean?
You're
Like,
fired. That's what I'm saying. That's fired.
you know, I was.
That ambition. is
And
crazy.
so my ambition, even as a kid, was like, I did this. If I put in the work, I did this. If I'm gonna make principals list, I did this. You know, very rooted in I did this.
Yeah.
Senior year of high school comes around. I'm gonna make this story really short. Senior year of high school comes around. I get the interview to go to Harvard. The applications go in, everything. Oh, we're gonna do that interview. Yeah, we're definitely doing that interview because like my stuff was perfect.
Yeah.
Everything was perfect. You know, so my entire life I did everything that was necessary for me to get to this particular goal. Right? I do the interview. I kill the interview.
Straight up.
Kill.
Merc.
Mind you, I'm coming off a trip. I was like out of the state, and I had an interview like the next day.
Wow.
Killed the interview. Killed it. Okay, I'm like, I've never been so sure because
Shot at it in the bag.
there's a certain level you have to get to, like, or there's a certain stage, like between like sending in the application and getting the interview. So I get the interview, I'm like, oh, I'm in there. I'm a shoo-in. I'm in there. Like
in there.
for everything that I have worked towards, I'm finally getting to where I need to be.
Yeah.
Right? The letters come in. The Harvard letter come in. I'm like, oh, I'm up. It's up. I get that letter. It's like, we have been so sorry. We are so sorry to, you know, tell you you've been denied.
Did they give a reason?
No, they never do. It's like a generic kind of letter. If
Weak.
you've been like rejected from a school, it's a generic letter that they send to everybody, you know.
I don't take rejection.
I have that rejection letter framed on my wall right now.
No, you don't.
Oh,
I do.
really?
Wow.
That's
I
your
do. That's my
motivator.
motivation every day.
Wow.
Every single day. So, mind you, when I was a kid, my entire life, I was like, I'm never going to Oakwood. Good luck. I'll see y'all when y'all come back for 7th grade. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll see y'all when y'all come home.
Funny.
I never had the plan to go there. That was never my plan.
Wow.
Ever.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing so hard because Nelly is so awkward.
Yo,
dog.
you
So involved. Like, I mean,
Yo.
crazy.
But I feel like
First
that's
year.
like poured into like who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
just bled into like me just being there.
Yeah.
But y'all don't know the backstory of it
Yeah.
though.
Nah.
It's like
First time.
the backstory of it is like I was never supposed to be there. Like that was like my Nineveh. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mercy.
I ain't going. Like I ain't going. There's nothing you can
Nineveh
do to
is
make
where
me
I
go
draw
over
the
there.
line.
Yeah,
You know?
Nineveh.
And I remember distinctly one particular night I was crying because you know me, I'm not a
But Nineveh? Oh, Nineveh. No, Nineveh is where I draw the line.
emotional person for real. I'm really not. But that was the one thing I wanted.
Yeah.
I never asked for anything in my life. That's the only thing I wanted. And I didn't get it.
Why, God?
You know? And I cried this particular night. And I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What am I supposed to, like, I'm just going to settle and, like, go to, like, Georgia State. And that's not a bad thing. If you went to Georgia State, shout out to all the Panthers.
You know?
Shout out to all the Panthers.
Got mad love for
All
y'all.
my
We got
family
photo
went to
shoots
Georgia
coming
State.
for
Shout
y'all
out to
real
all the
soon.
Panthers. I
After
love
side
Georgia
visuals.
State. I love Georgia. I want to preface that. I love Georgia
plug.
State. But, like, these are not plans I had in my life.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what am I supposed to do now? I never had a plan B because that was always my plan A. I was so sure
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
I was sure.
That was the one.
And so one particular night, it's weird. I heard this voice and it was like, go to Oakland. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It ain't happening. It's not me. Find somebody else to do it,
No,
Lord.
sir.
Find somebody else to do it.
me.
And long story short, I ended up going to Oakwood that freshman year. I still, like, I was like doing like my first semester. I was like a biology major.
I remember.
And I was a biology major my first semester, and I remember because like it was like, why am I even here? First of all, never mind why am I in biology. Why am I at Oakwood? First of all, why am I here? But then I remember distinctly this one day I was in biology class. I was sitting in a class. Everybody's sitting there. They tuned in. I'm sitting there. I'm just like kind of just like looking at her. Like I remember all of a sudden I heard silence. She's teaching, mind you. I see her mouth moving. I don't hear nothing.
Wow.
She is teaching. And it's like her words are just going like, Like it's out, and that was I don't remember what day. I know it was first semester, and I just like I knew that time. I was like, I'm not supposed to be here, am I? I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. So whatever my ambitions were for being a doctor, they were not for my purpose. They were never for my purpose, because I'm like, I'm thinking about everything that I've ever done as a kid, even, you know, like being able to entertain folks, being able to like entertain any conversation. Like,
that's you.
My purpose is people, straight up. That's why, like, I could talk to a stranger on the street and it's up. Like we've been talking for 40 years.
Yeah.
You know?
That's you.
And I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here, am I? And I switched my major that same day. Mind you, it's the first semester. Like, it's like October. It's not even December. It's like October. I got finals to take and all that. It's October, and I'm like, I'm not supposed to be. I changed my major that same day to political science.
Wow.
That same day. And, you know, I went through all that, and mind you, I'm kind of behind with everything, but like, or as far as like classes and stuff like that, but I still graduated on time. Like, I made sure I doubled up. Like, my senior year, I think like, what, 24, 25 credits?
Throw up.
But when I'm determined, I'm determined.
That's real.
You did that.
You know, like,
You did that.
It couldn't be
I
me.
did that, and what I realized was like, okay, like, I was like, oh, maybe I'm supposed to be a lawyer. I know I'm supposed to talk, so maybe I should be a lawyer. And I did all those classes. I did so well. Obviously, you know, I did so well.
Duh, dummy.
Duh, dummy.
But at the end of my senior year, I didn't know if I was gonna graduate. And I prayed to God. I was like, okay, God, if this is exactly where I'm supposed to be, I'm gonna graduate on time. Because there was a class I was missing, and I never knew I was missing this class, mind you. It's spring break, almost before graduation.
Sounds like a telltale.
I completed a 16 credit class in one weekend.
Oh, what?
In one weekend.
Hold on.
Hold on. Yeah. Let's go back.
No, not 16 credits, 16-week class. I completed a 16-week class in one weekend.
Again. 16 weeks, 72 hours.
Yes, absolutely. I tuned everything out. I turned my phone off. Nobody talked to me. Day and night. I prayed. I was like, okay, day and night. A 16-week class I completed in one weekend. And then right after that, the pandemic started.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know if I was going to take the final or the pandemic had started right then.
Yeah.
Right when we came back from spring break.
Wow.
I took the final. I took the midterm. I took the final in 1 week. And that was it.
Can you tell us the name of the class?
It was a Bible class.
Can you tell us the name of the Bible?
Oh, okay.
But it was I had to do an online class. A 16
Yo,
week.
don't play her lady.
A 16 week.
No, absolutely.
With all these like courses, I had to read all this stuff. Yeah. Like it was like all this stuff. Like it was, mind you, it was with Andrews. Like I had to take a class with Andrews.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, that's different.
That's insane.
Yeah, it wasn't with Oakwood. I took a 16-week course with Andrews.
And you know, Oakwood is different to Andrews in terms of rigidness of what you can skate by.
Yeah, with Andrews, a 16-week course in one weekend. Because I was determined. I was like, there's no way I made it this far just to make it this far. There's no way. Right? So, did that, graduated mid-pandemic, during the pandemic, you know. Yeah. We didn't know what was going on. We thought the world was going to end, but
no, that's a fact.
That was it. You know, I did it. But I had a job going into my senior year that I happened to get. It was like at a senior living facility, right? On top of me working at Sandy Springs Diner. On top of that. But mind you, I'm still in college. So
hustle,
it was like,
bustle, man. You don't play.
One thing about me, I don't play. I'm a hustler, like for real, you know?
You do be hustling.
So I'm doing that for a whole summer. Fast forward, going into the next year, then the pandemic started. I already have a job, mind you, because even when I was at school, I was going on weekends to drive to Atlanta from Huntsville, drive to Atlanta, do my shift, and then come back to Huntsville.
Wait, you were working in Atlanta?
Yeah, I was working in Atlanta and then driving back and forth from like Huntsville to Atlanta. Like, yeah.
For the audience who doesn't know and you're not from Atlanta or Huntsville, it's a 3.5, 4 hour drive minimum.
Yes. So I was going back and forth from Huntsville to Atlanta to work. and then come back home, do my classes. Like whole time nobody knows this is exactly what's going on. Nobody knows because I don't know.
You're built different. I ain't gonna lie. That's
I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know. But when a pandemic hit, I was like, oh, I have a job already. So I'm like, okay, it's in healthcare. Mind you, like I said, I was never meant to work in healthcare.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Because I'm still working here now. I've now upgraded in the company. Thank God. You know.
She said, "Don't play with me."
Yeah, I have now upgraded in the company.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I know that I was who was I talking to? I was talking to Drew earlier, and I was like, there are stages in your life where if you don't follow through with your body is telling you, it's in stages, right? So if your mind, like if you wake up one day, you're like, okay, like it's just an idea. It starts with an idea. It's like, okay, I'm not supposed to be here anymore. Am I? I'm supposed to upgrade to like something different. You know, I'm supposed to move on to something different. I'm a little bit too comfortable here.
Yeah.
The ideas will start coming up. That's it. It'll start there. And then eventually it'll move from that idea and it'll start getting like really mental where it's like, okay, before you even put your feet on the ground, it's like, I don't think I'm not supposed to be here. Like I'm supposed to do something different.
That's crazy. That's
right?
crazy.
And then if you don't listen to that,
Yeah.
it'll start getting physical.
Oh no, you gonna feel it.
So before you even put your feet on the ground, when you put your feet on that ground, I don't even think I can make it to the bathroom to get ready. And when I get to the place where I'm supposed to be, like to go work, your body, like it's a physical thing. Like you know you're not supposed to be here because you will start to feel physically ill to be in this place. And it's not even just about like evolving. It's bigger than that. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a personal place, you know, whether it's a familial place, whether it's a friendship, whatever it is, it's in stages. You will know when it's time to move on or when it's time to end this or when it's time to grow or when it's time to evolve. You'll know.
Yeah.
Your body will tell you.
No, absolutely.
That's a fact.
You know,
Yeah.
if you don't listen, it'll start evolving and manifesting in different ways that you're not even like, you know, you didn't even know it could get there.
Yeah.
You know, and yes, I am really good at my job.
She said, "I do my job."
You know, talk about it.
I do my job.
No, you
I
do
am
your
very
job.
good at my job.
Yes.
Not to toot my own horn, but
Nah,
everything
own
I
that.
touch turns
Own
to
that.
gold.
That.
Own that thing.
The thing about you that I've always enjoyed too, you're very confident, and that shows. And confidence is I feel like, especially as a Black woman, we love that because I feel like that doesn't get highlighted enough. And your confidence, it spreads to others.
Thank you.
So please continue to be as confident as you are.
It doesn't feel cocky either.
It's not. It just seems genuine and true.
That's always my fear, though. Is that like I don't want to come off as like some person who's like cocky, like
I know.
You know, at all.
I get it. Trust me, I understand that because someone who's had to build up your own confidence, you don't want that to come off as egotistical or prideful or boastful in a way. So it's like you've had to like kind of toe the line between being as confident as you need to be and then also kind of staying in that shell.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's like I'm really good at my job. I really am. But I know that it's time for me to move on to like bigger,
Correct.
like greater, like stretch. I feel like I've been stretched enough. Like
Yes.
But here's what I will say, because I work in engagement for memory care. So like with geriatric folks who have dementia or Alzheimer's. There's a lot of patience that comes with that. There's a lot of understanding that needs to come with that.
Yeah.
These are things I did not have before this job.
Wow.
Like being at school was one thing, like that gave me a certain kind of patience.
This is different.
But this different.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
it's a different kind of patience. Like I have
People are forgetting every day.
Yeah, like I have a resident,
Every
like
day.
she's my favorite. I love her. She's very with it, but she can't talk because she had a stroke. She had 2 strokes, but like one of her strokes, like when she talks, she'll be like, she'll say like a different thing. She'll be like the coffee,
Yeah.
the coffee. At first, I was like, does she need coffee?
Yeah.
I said she need coffee. That's what she said. She need coffee. I'm like that. Then I realized, oh, it's an object. Then I have to really like listen, and I have to be patient and be like, okay, this is what it is. Like I have to be patient. And so in that's what I'm saying. Like everything that you do, whether you think you're supposed to be there or you're not supposed to be there, whatever it is, it's like stay there.
That is so
feed into
true.
it, sit in it. Whether you feel like you're supposed to be there, whether it's in uncomfortable spaces, you know it's time to grow.
Yeah.
But learn what you need to learn in the space that you're in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Learn exactly what you need to learn in that space that you were in. Because wherever is the big idea or the big place that you think that you're supposed to be in, that'll take you a lot further.
That's a fact.
Like we have this idea, okay, if I go to school, I'm going to learn this, I'm going to learn this. And that's true, yeah, but you can only learn but so much at school.
That's it. Listen, there's a ceiling.
There's a ceiling.
Yeah,
So they have residency
and I
programs.
feel like
You need real life experience.
you need real life. And I'm talking about real stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable.
Correct.
In places that make you feel like, okay, like,
Do I belong here?
Yeah.
I don't, like, do I belong here? Or do I belong here? I don't belong
You
here?
need
I'm not
a little
sure.
bit of resistance
But
to build.
the idea has to be consistent in that if I'm outside cleaning up the trash outside, I'm gonna be like the best person, like cleaning up that trash outside. You know what I'm saying? If I am supposed to be helping patients at this time, I'm gonna be the best at that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you are doing in an uncomfortable space, be the best at that, because the lessons that come from that, it's gonna take you way farther when you get to where you are supposed to be.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I believe that. I know that now.
I know what you're saying is to be very true is because I've been put in those positions where I wasn't sure if this was the right place for me, but I had to take what I needed from that lesson, and it was hindsight is always 20/20. So after the fact, you always start to realize the lessons that you learned and what you took away from that. But positions that I didn't think were going to be good for me were actually the best place for me to be because I got skills from that. I took something from that.
Yeah.
And the type of person I am, I absorb information. I'm like a sponge. Most humans are, but I recognize that. So like, for me, experience is everything. If I know how to do it now, it changes everything.
That's real.
And a lot of times, like you said, you can't learn everything in the classroom. You can't. You just sometimes you need that real life experience, even if it makes you anxious, even if it puts you in the most uncomfortable position, you still need that.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about recently, I was like, how many times in recent times have I looked at myself like, okay, I'm less than what I thought I am. Like a few weeks ago, I was on the phone with a very close friend of ours. Shout out MJ.
Oh, Shelly. Hi, Shelly.
And I was, telling to her, I was like, MJ, I feel like a fraud.
Oh.
Right? She's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm like, the thing about it is the person that I thought I would be at this age, I've always thought like, oh my God, like I'm going to be like the best doctor at a certain age. Like when I get to this milestone, I'm going to be this, 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 I'm going to be doing this, like, and that's going to be something that my parents can be proud of.
Yeah.
And I was telling her this, I was like, I'm exactly the opposite of what I thought I would be, right? But then like there was something that was shared with me that I feel like she was like, you are the last person that she was telling to me, she was like, you are the last person I feel like should feel that way.
That's a fact.
Because think about who you are to all of us. And also, yes, you are not the person you thought you would be, but you're also not the person you thought you would be. Like you're even greater than the person you thought you would be. You know what I mean? And now that I'm thinking about it now, it's like, I'm actually greater than the person I thought like my parents could be proud of.
Yeah.
As a person. Because I have all these hopes and I have all these dreams, and I'm sure so many people have all these hopes and all these dreams, but think about where you are now.
And they're yours.
And it's like, these dreams are mine, these hopes are mine, but I am more than the person I thought I would be.
I relate to that. I relate to that a lot just because that is scary. That what you just said is scary because it's new. That's like a new feeling because for so long what I thought 25 was is not what 25 is now. So it's one of those things where I put myself in this place where I thought I was going to be this whole different person, which I am.
Yeah.
I am, but it's not the version of me that I had in my head. And I'm okay with that because I've grown to become more of the person that I needed to be right now. Like I'm at this place where I get to live the life that I've chosen for myself, outside of the life that I thought I had to live, which is very different. Which is very, very different. So I can relate to what you're saying.
That's real. You know what? As the youngest on the table currently, I don't feel like I need to say anything except for thank you. I mean,
no, that's a fact.
You know, you came here today and you really spit some real things to us, helped me understand some things about myself.
Wow.
Some vulnerability that I have given and shared on this platform of ours. So with that being said, the thing that I want to end off with is, where can they find you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. On Twitter, you can find me on Twitter at Nelly Botá, capital Nelly, capital Bota on Twitter. And on Instagram, you can find me at Nelita __ NELLITAA __.
Find my good sis. Go follow her. She is very entertaining. I like her posts. Like on social media in general.
Thank you. Social media is my time to talk to myself. So like the fact that people interact with me, interacting with myself is good.
Your Instagram reminds me of the Meek Mill album championships.
Really?
Yeah, because like the way, just go check it out. She has this post where she's still
on
like,
the weekend. Do you see the one when it's Friday? She's like, ladies and gentlemen.
The weekend.
Yeah.
I don't miss a Friday now.
She does.
Come on.
I love it.
Where can they find you, good brother?
_LESAGE _ and you can also find me at MWTI Pod. You know where to find us.
That's the one. That's the one.
Go to the
That's the one.
That's
I'm telling
the
you.
one.
Sean?
You guys can find me at UH _ITS _SEAN on Instagram and follow the podcast page.
You know.
Please.
And you can find me at MWTI Pod on Instagram, and you can subscribe and like and share the YouTube page, and that's it, because my personal Instagram is now no longer mine. So it's great.
Oh, man. And as always, if you're listening to this, we hope we inspired, impacted, or entertained. And if we didn't, we got a million more episodes to try. Peace.